Hi, I'm Bob Butera with the Yoga Life Institute. We're talking about transitions as we're in mid-fall right now, as you receive this newsletter. And in mid-fall, we start to move, obviously, from the summer to the winter. Depending on where you live precisely, as it gets cold, you'll notice that the trees and various bushes will pull their energy away from the leaves, preparing for the cold winter to protect their plant, and they'll pull the majority of their energy and they'll put it down into the ground, into their roots. And that's a huge change if you think about it, you know, for the plants. We obviously all witness the beautiful change of leaves, and then we have the quiet time in the winter. Well, at this time, just in the beginning of a tree pulling the energy in would be called the dormant phase of a tree. And this is the best time to plant a new tree because the new tree's roots, even if you're buying a tree in a pot that one day will be gigantic, and for now it's yay big, that tree is dormant in its roots. When you plant a tree, if you happen to have a yard and you minimize your grass a little bit by planting a native fruit tree or a tree that would produce something like walnuts or hazelnuts, acorns, you're creating an immediate food source for your area, and you are taking control of global warming in one way that you absolutely can. So since many people who read our newsletter live in suburban areas and they have some land, you can start to minimize grass and plant these trees, plant native gardens, see butterflies, and all of that. Now, when you do this, it causes you to start to connect more with nature. You can share this with children and neighbors. And in this whole process, you're actually like when we connect to nature, we're actually connecting to our body. And as we do that, we start to see things as they genuinely are. So as I breathe in, right, we take our deep breath in yoga. If I've planted a tree recently and I think about all those roots and I think about a few wildflowers around it, and I think about what I'm going to do, how I don't want to put any chemicals on the yard because that would be putting chemicals on my skin and it would be killing everything and it would be killing the subtleties of the soil. Then I don't want to eat those foods. I want to take that breath in. So now the breath in is not just a deep yoga breath. It's not just a deep centering breath. It's a breath that is centered by understanding our actual relationship to nature. This gives us a feeling of belonging. And when you belong, you feel safe. I know from a tree, connecting to nature, to breathing, to allowing your body to be like nature. The blood through your veins is the water running through the streams. The air is the wind. Your bones are the rocks. And your body is just an expression of that. And when you feel that, it's really relaxing, deeply relaxing. And when things are transitioning, whether they be the seasons or something big in your life transitioning, a change of location for living, a job change, new relationship, anything that's changing causes us to have to kind of realign and get a sense of things. And yoga is based on this concept, actually, of coping with change. That's the hardest, that's the way that the yoga philosophy describes the difficulty of being a human being. Accepting the gray hair in my beard is something that I have to go through. But the way of doing that is finding that still place within yourself, like that eye of the storm, the part of you when you're in touch with that higher self, whether you're religious and it's God, whether you feel close to nature and it's the earth. But when you feel that stillness, the change starts to seem like it's going around you because you feel grounded, safe, stable. You feel like you're in touch with things so that you can let things move and transition without being affected. So again, trees are dormant this time of year. If you were thinking of planting that native apple tree or that native peach or a pawpaw. Look that up. I've put a little link in the email to the Homegrown National Park, which is a really good resource, a website and an organization that guides you in how to turn a yard into a native garden. This is a way that gives us, even though it's small, it'll feel big to you because every day you're going to see that tree or that little wildflower garden that you built. And that gives us a little sense of control when we see what global warming is doing with all the various storms that just about everybody has experienced of late. Difficulties with wind and floods and ice and all kinds of things in the last number of years. Think of how many times we see this in our neighborhood or our relatives' neighborhoods. So again, as we transition, find ways to anchor yourself. Let that tree establish its roots when it's dormant, so it starts growing early in spring. And when that hot, dry summer comes, although a young tree needs a little watering when it's planted from a pot in the summertime, it will be more likely to survive and make it through that first year, which is the biggest time for a tree. All right, I hope we wish you the best in all the different transitions you have going on.